It's Friday, May 15th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host, Jason Cooper. We got a great show for you today. We got Mike Bennett working his way behind the boards, keeping everything nice and smooth. Excited to get into today's show. As I mentioned, loaded show. We got GSTACK George coming on. I see Derek already in the chat. Need some George UFL takes. Don't worry. We'll get to all the UFL action this weekend. Plus, we're going to talk about his tier list. I don't know if you guys saw this. Him and Austin put out a tier list. There's some things I like and some things I don't like. It's a quarterback tier list. And I think my main problem with it, and we'll get into it when George comes on here, is just like I feel like there's a tier that he put there that is kind of a cop-out. It's like, we need to see more. Listen, if you want to put Fernando Mendoza in the we need to see more tier, that's fine. You can't put Trevor Lawrence in there. He's been in the league for freaking 5 years. Anyways, excited to get in the show with you guys today. Kirk Evans is going to come on after that. We're going to be talking some NBA games. Also, WNBA. We got 2 NBA games tonight. WNBA, I believe 4 WNBA games. Got bets for all of those. Then finally, we got MLB Dream going to come on, talk some MLB slate today. I'm going to push him towards some futures. I'm going to force him to talk us through some futures because I want to get like sort of like a quarter season update. We're almost 25% of the way through the MLB season. I feel like none other than MLB Dream can lead us through the quarter season update. And I don't know if you guys saw last night. It was the NFL schedule releases. And first off, you follow Adam Schefter on Twitter, like your timeline just got bombarded. He just retweeted every single one of these schedule release videos, which is like, sure, I get it, but like, bro, chill, like relax. I want to watch these at my own pace. You don't have to release them all at the same time. Some teams did great. Other teams did horribly. Obviously, shout out the Chargers, by far the best one. As someone who grew up in the early 2000s, Halo was a big part of my life, and like, that was very nostalgic to see all of that. Also, them making fun of C.J. Stroud talking to Caleb Williams was absolute comedy gold. But I have a gripe with the schedule release videos. The Chargers did it correctly, and a couple other teams did it correctly. There were some good videos out there, but I would argue they're not good schedule release videos. I'm thinking about the Atlanta Falcons. Sure, it was funny. They did the play on the Sportsnet bit where it's like Sportsnet in the office. It's like Drake London, receptionist. He's getting all the receptions to talk. But like, it was just them doing skits, and then at the end they showed the schedule. It's like, that's not a schedule release. That's just a bunch of skits with the schedule. Anyways, that bothers me a little bit. Also, like the Bills, they're in a room trying to figure out what to do for the schedule release. They just showed the schedule at the end. Like, that's not how it should be done. You got to look at the Chargers, see what they did. It's like every single week is something new. I love that. That's how it should be. And I absolutely loved what they did there. I'm going to talk to George when he comes on to see if he liked any of the other ones. Did anyone spot the Chargers error? What was the Chargers error?
In the Halo video, basically, after their bye week, they put the Colorado Avalanche logo in there.
But that's not an error. The Rams are owned, like the Rams owner owns the Avalanche as well. Oh. That was like a joke.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
I got again. Here we go.
There you go. Yeah, the Rams owner also owns the Avs, which is why they put that in there, I assume. But yeah, funny stuff. Seems like the chat enjoyed the schedule release. We got George coming on in just a second. But it's the postseason. And this postseason, it's all about the bets on FanDuel. It's all about the boosts because game day means your chance to boost your bet and make every play pay off. The postseason on FanDuel, it's all about the boosts. That's right. All customers get a profit boost tonight, so every bucket counts just a little bit more. The pace is fast. The game never stops. And with FanDuel, you've got more ways to make every win even bigger, so lock in your bets, boost your odds, and make every night count with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Head over to FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to get started. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliates, Kansas Casino, 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Bonus issue is not withdrawable profit boost token. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/China, Connecticut. Or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gaminghelplinema.org or call 1-800-3750-50 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right. He's about to come on and defend some of his takes. He is the inaugural fantasy winner of the Hammer Fantasy League. Tape grinder. Big fan of the NFL offseason, releasing tons of tier list videos, which I absolutely love, and I can't wait for the future ones. But we got the first one to talk about here with the quarterback tier list. GSTACK George, how's it going?
I'm doing well, my friend. Thanks for having me again.
No, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you coming on all the time. I love having you on. Quickly, before we get into the tier list, talk to me about the schedule release videos. Any videos that stood out to you? Anything you liked a little bit? I feel like we had a lack of Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel references in these videos.
Okay. First of all, the Chargers are like living off reputation because I don't care. Maybe it's because I didn't play Halo.
Yeah.
But I didn't care for like the video, and I think any non-gamer would be like indifferent to the impact of their video. So they're not in my top like 10 or I didn't make a list, but I have 3 favorites that I enjoyed the most. I am not a Titans homer, but man,
they did a good video.
it's a great job.
Yeah.
Like I think my favorite was like, so they picked people that looked similar to someone affiliated with the team.
Loosely similar. Very loosely similar.
Loosely similar. But like for Myles Garrett, like tallest, most jacked black man, they took a white guy in a jersey who
it looked like a kid, honestly. It was hilarious.
Yes, and it was just like a great contrast.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Yeah, I also liked, I'm a Simpsons fan. I guess I'm showing my age, but I thought the Colts nailed it as well. And Atlanta's was really good. They did a play on the old Sports Center videos. And I thought it was really, really good.
My only problem with the Atlanta one is that, like, yeah, it was funny, but like, it wasn't a scheduled release video. It was a video, and then at the end they released their schedule. You know, like the schedule release has to like trickle out throughout the episode, like what they did with the Colts did with the Simpsons, where it's like every week is like something different, right?
Yeah, but then like you take the Lions. So the Lions was like a shot of Dan Campbell at his desk, and like all the critics of like, is the windows, like a bunch of quotes, is the window for the Lions over, this, that. Dan Campbell gets up and like posts on a board with a thumbtack the list of schedule, and that's it. It's a minute-long video, kind of like we're all and they caption it, we're all business, right? I'm like, at least with Atlantis there was comedic value there.
Fair. You know what? That's fair. I think again, the Chargers year in, year out dominate. No, George.
Sorry.
You're only mad about that because they did your boy CJ Stroud a little bit dirty in the video.
No, I didn't understand the Halo references. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
You didn't need to know Halo. There was a lot there. I loved the CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams, that stuff. That was just like, was that not the funniest thing ever? Like, why would the Chargers even do that? Like, I don't even know. They're defending my boy Caleb, but it's good.
Yeah. They took, I think, 2 jabs at the Rossini situation, but that's about it.
All right. Well, we got to get more jabs next time. I'm sure no one's going to talk about it next year. Anyways, let's get into the show today. George, you're getting some flack on Twitter, mostly from me, about your tier list.
A lot of people. In fact, the one that you're like most okay with, Caleb, I caught a lot of heat for that and I had to defend it.
Well, it's pretty simple. Go ahead. Yeah, defend it.
Because the process of this is we eliminated the average tier. Because here's the truth about roster building. If you have an average quarterback, you can win if they're on a rookie deal or like a Sam Darnold $30 million a year deal. But the second you have to pay them competitively, your windows are absolutely closed. You're not winning with a bad quarterback getting paid top 10 money. So the methodology is, if you don't have a top 10 quarterback, you need to start looking for one. So the Brock Purdy thing got a lot of flack, but I stand by it. Purdy's going to start making $50 million a year, and it's hard to win when Purdy, who plays at an above average level and sometimes at a top 10 level, is getting paid $50 million. It makes it very difficult to win in that window.
Yeah, maybe we can link the video in the chat right now so you can watch this after the fact. Because, again, obviously the context matters. You guys did a great job with the video. But my gripes was about, like you said, Purdy and Love. And I talked with you on Twitter about that. But, yeah, like it just felt like Love and Purdy should be closer together. But if you're contextualizing it around their current contracts, then I completely understand that. My biggest problem, though, is the need to see more tier. Because you kind of have like a grab bag of different individuals in there. Like Trevor Lawrence, Jane Daniels, and CJ Stroud, I don't think should be in that tier. I think they should be in their own tier. I think Fernando Mendoza, fine. You can put him in that tier. Even Jackson Dart, I'm okay with putting in that tier. Cam Ward, maybe. Tyler Shuck, maybe. But, like, I just didn't like that you guys put. Was there any consideration about creating a separate tier instead of the need to see more?
No, I could have made the case that Trevor Lawrence is top 10-ish. Here's the problem. We all know, like, the first few years he was sabotaged with, like, awful coaching. Then he gets a guru in Liam Cohen. but he doesn't look very good until the second half of the year. So if he did it for a whole year, I would put him in the top 10-ish category. He did it for half a year, and I'm like, that's too little of a time to ignore 4.5 years worth of data points that Trevor Lawrence is not a top 10 quarterback. But he's one that if he does it for another, like if they come out in the first month and he looks great, yeah, he's top 10 quarterback, or at that ish. That ish is doing a lot of work. It's like anyone from like 8 to 12.
Yes, I agree. And it's funny because like people were a lot of our chat was talking about how Caleb Williams is too high, and if we're going to talk about the top 10-ish. But when you guys were making the video, Austin just mentioned, he's like, yeah, I'm comfortable putting him top 12, but like maybe not top 10. So it's like, okay, what's the difference between 10th and 12th? There's not that much of a difference.
Yeah, I felt bad. I think the Lawrence one, I thought the Purdy one was a bit controversial. I even asked Austin at the end, do you want to rethink of where we have Purdy? We just decided to put him at the front of that tier. Yeah. And then the CJ Stroud one is complicated because him and Bryce Young have been in the league the same amount of time, Jason. But I know for sure Bryce Young is not a guy. I know that the Panthers need to find a future long. I think I know that about CJ Stroud, but there's that first year is still, I guess the prior is still a little bit strong. That I'm willing to give him this one last season. If there's no growth, and we can't blame his O-line 3 years in a row. If there's no growth, it's time to move on from Stroud as well.
All right, that's fair. Let's go through this tier list right now quickly because I have like one guy in each tier who I would sort of move up or move down. Let's fast forward to the end of the year, and let's start with the need to see more tier. Because tanking for Arch, we're just gonna I doubt anyone from this tier is gonna move up. I think we can just kind of let this one lie where it is. In the need to see more tier, if you had one quarterback to like, let's say move up to like the top 10-ish tier, and then one quarterback to move back and out to the probably look to replace tier, who would it be and why from the need to see more tier?
All right. I think that the Denver Broncos should move on from Bo Nix. I'm giving him a third year. And so I just think we've seen 2 full years and it just looks like it's so much inconsistent play. And then I also think Trevor Lawrence should be in the top 10-ish. Jaden Daniels could be, but like you can on a 2-year sample size with 1 year where you're completely injured, you cannot make that declaration.
No, you're very right, and I think the problem I'm leaning towards Daniel to be up in the top 10-ish, and then I think I'm in the same boat with you with Stroud, where probably he'll end up in the probably look to replace by the end of this year. But the thing with Jaden Daniels is like, yeah, the injury issue is the biggest thing, and it seems like his style of play. So many people made like issues about Lamar's style of play in terms of like him getting hurt. Jaden Daniels is way more reckless with his body, and seems like it's going to be more of an issue for him. Probably look to replace tier. I feel like Purdy is the most obvious guy to be bumped up to the top 10. Who do you think from the probably look to replace tier is going to end up getting bumped up at the end of the year, or who do you think has the chance to be like in the tanking for Arch conversation, or tanking for whoever the 2020 is a 2028 quarterback, best quarterback in that draft is going to be?
So the tanking for Arch is not like an indictment of the team, because I don't think Pittsburgh is bad enough. It's the quarterback himself as a singular unit, right? That's the methodology behind the tier. So I say that with, I don't think the Bucks are bad enough to pick in the top 5, but I think I'm done with the Baker Mayfield experience.
Wow. Yeah. Honestly, the Baker one in this tier was the most shocking to me. I think I probably would have put him ahead of Kyler Murray and Bryce Young, for that. Okay. So you have Baker falling down. I assume Brock Purdy moving up to top 10-ish.
Yes. That would be the one case.
All right.
Yeah.
This is where it gets fun now. The top 10-ish. We got Herbert, May, Dak, Love, Williams. Who moves up to elite? Who moves down to the either need to see more or probably looks to replace?
I think Drake May is probably the strongest case for the to move up, just because he played at an MVP level in year 2. And it's like he already had a better year than Herbert. And I know people like to call Herbert elite, but Drake May looked it without great weapons last year and without a great O-line. If Drake May puts together another year and they've improved their O-line and they added AJ Brown and they added Romeo Doubs, Drake May could like really establish himself next year.
All right. Who do you feel like has the biggest chance to move down? Is it Dak? Is it Jordan Love? Is it Caleb? It's not Justin Herbert, obviously, but is it Caleb Williams? Who is it here?
I think it's Jordan Love. I think there's a world in which Their weapons are not the same this year. Josh Jacobs is a little bit washed, and their O-line's no good. And if Love can't elevate above that, I could see him dropping out. And like, it's the case of like the Purdy thing, right? Is like, how much of that is Purdy versus Shanahan? And obviously we saw how good Mac Jones looked when he came in. And like, we saw how good Malik Willis looked when Jordan Love went out. So it's like, that's not an indictment exactly on Jordan Love. It's more like, I love Matt LaFleur, and I think he's given Love a lot of help.
All right. I think you know who I'm going with here. I agree with you with the Jordan Love bumping him down. That was the biggest gripe I had with you guys on Twitter. I think I'm either stuck between Caleb or Justin Herbert moving up to the next tier. Justin Herbert just has every single piece in play. And with Caleb, obviously progression isn't linear, but no more DJ Moore, and I think that's actually going to help their offense out quite a bit here. Because you guys mentioned that Caleb Williams is like night and day. He'll take you to overtime and then throw a pick in overtime.
We got the full experience. They shouldn't have gone to overtime. He shouldn't have made that 4th down throw against the Rams to tie it, but he also shouldn't have thrown that pick in overtime.
We're gonna debate this to the end of time. That was DJ Moore's fault. Anyways, let's go to the elite tier. Mahomes, Stafford, Burrow, Lamar. Who's getting bumped down? Who's getting bumped up by the end of the year, you think?
So Mahomes is the obvious. Like,
yes.
If it's not Allen, it's Mahomes. So that's going to be controversial. Some people are like, but Allen has just looked like the better quarterback for 2 years. I've had Allen in our list last year when we did a list as who's the number 1 quarterback. So I've thought it for multiple years now. And I actually would not have had Lamar Jackson in the elite list. Austin had to talk me into putting him back in. And I know that sounds crazy given he had like 3 MVP levels in a row. It's just last year he looked bad, and I know he was injured. But my question is, if he is injured, and he's reluctant to run as much as he did, if he loses one of the best assets that he has, are we sure that he can be very good anymore, like an elite level, if he's just throwing more or has a higher percentage of throwing? Their O-line is probably the worst it's been. Weapons are like, it's a lot of turnover. So like, I like what they did as far as like Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt, but it still remains to be seen. And Derrick Henry's just 1 more year older. And I know I've been saying he's going to hit a cliff for years now, but like this might be the case where we finally see the decline in Lamar.
Yeah, no, TQ in the chat as well mentioning huge lifelong Chiefs fan. Josh Allen is the best quarterback, so no flack for the Josh Allen there. I might go off the board here in terms of the elite category and say like Mahomes might be the guy who might get bumped down at the end of the year. I feel like Matthew Stafford is the easier one, but like,
Stafford is because
he's going to retire.
He's going to retire.
Yeah. So that's like the cop out answer. But like, if I had to pick between Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes, just not impressed with the Chiefs last year, and I'm worried about the Chiefs offense again this year. One of my quote unquote hot takes is that the Chiefs won't finish top 10 in EPA per play next year, and it's like, how many years in a row of a not top 10 offense we're going to see before we bump him down a little bit?
I will say, last year when you made a video about the Chiefs,
we're hot and we're cold.
The best weapons Mahomes has ever had.
Yeah, listen, I'll own bad takes.
We all do.
Bad takes.
We all have those takes. Believe me, there's stuff out there that nobody's brought back up to me, and I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to throw myself under the bus.
You just throw mine under the bus. That's crazy. That's not nice.
I just thought it was funny because like 1 year later, it's like, oh, the weapons actually really do suck.
No, it's not even about the weapons. I'm just worried about the team as a whole. Anyways, the whole offense. All right. Before we head out here, George, I have you for a couple more minutes. Let's rattle off some UFL stuff. We went a little too long on the tier list. That's my fault, just because I'm obsessed with this stuff. But UFL, talk us through the games this weekend.
So first game is happening tonight. Orlando Storm at the Dallas Renegades. The Orlando Storm are 5-2, and I still think they're a pretender. Dallas is 3-4, and like once upon a time was a house, and no longer like they can't get it together offensively. Line opened up at -1 though, and we've seen Dallas money. I still think there's a shot that this gets to 3. I make the line Dallas 2, so there's no action for me. Orlando has some injuries on defense. I think Dallas has a clear edge in the trenches in this game. Orlando like generates the second fewest sacks in the league. But like Orlando is 5-2, Jason, but like I have him as the 5th best offense out of 8 teams and the 4th best defense. They give up the 2nd most yards per play and yards per drive. They just happen to have teams stall out or force turnovers, kind of a bit of high variance stuff that's helping them. It's a no action for me, but I agree with the line move so far this week.
All right, defenders and Kings. Defenders 5.5 road favorites here. Total 45.5. Anything here?
Yeah, so if you remember last week, the line was 10, and I said I like Louisville. I don't make but I can't until I know Louisville's O-line health. I can't make a decision. Turned out they were pretty healthy. Louisville actually won the game outright as a 10-point dog. So I disagreed with that number. So surprise, surprise. I also disagree with this number. It opened at 6. We've seen some Louisville money. I make the line DC -4. I think Louisville's 3-4 with a +14 point differential, kind of like and there are a couple lucky bounces, Jason, from being 5-2. The first week, they're leading the entire game, and Birmingham has like a one last minute drive that works, and they win by 2. And then, of course, Louisville lost that overtime game against Orlando where it ended on a penalty, and they had to change the rule immediately because of the backlash. I like Louisville +5.5. There is 1-6 out there. If you can grab it, grab it. But I like the 5.5. I think this closes at 4.5, to be honest.
All right, Louisville 5.5 -110 is available at FanDuel. Do we want to dip into the money line a little bit here, George? Do you think we can have an outright winner? Because we've been pretty good with these covering these spreads and getting covering the spread, not only the team covering but also winning the game.
Yeah, it's a hard call, man. I think DC is a 3-way tie right now at 5-2, and I think DC really wants the 1 seed. So it's hard for me to see them drop a second game. So I think I'd just rather have the points there.
All right, Houston Gamblers, and the St. Louis Battlehawks. Battlehawks 7.5 point favorites +100 on FanDuel. Totals at 44.5. Talk us through this game.
Line has been kind of stuck at 7.5, like that 7.25. It's leaning towards the 7. I think there's a shot that we get under a 7. If we get anything under a 7, I'm a buy on St. Louis. I make this line like 7.75. Here's what's interesting about this game. 2 of the worst offenses so far in the year. Although St. Louis looked a lot better last week with Luis Perez making his first start, the Spring King. The controversial trade where the Dallas traded like the best backup in the league for nothing. But listen, the difference between these two teams is Houston is a bottom 4 defense, and St. Louis, by far best defense in the league. They allow 23 yards per drive, Jason. Every other team in the league is over 30 yards, and DC's the only other team under 30. They give up still nearly 28 yards per drive. They also have the best home field advantage. If you remember, we took St. Louis +850 first week to win the title. They're now +260, second favorites to win the title. I think it's a great bet. I think they're one of the 2 best teams in football. That being said, I'm waiting to see if I can get a line under 7, and I think people should wait. There is a chance because it's heading that way that we do get something under 7.
All right, that's what we're looking for is under 7, and that +100 right now. It might be moving towards their final game. Columbus Aviators, Birmingham Stallions. Stallions -2.5 point favorites in this one, slightly juiced to -115.
I wish I was on yesterday. Line opened up at a juice 3 or 3.5 some spots. Columbus money has since brought it down and through the 3. It's now 2.5, like you said, at FanDuel. I actually make the line Birmingham, only favorites by 0.5 point. Birmingham has one of the best offenses in football, especially with Dorian Thompson-Robinson there, giving up the fewest sacks, and yet they just do not finish drives. They turn the ball over a ton. They also have the worst defense in the league. Like, no one generates fewer sacks than them. They give up the most yards per play and most yards per drive in the league. And yet they're only bottom 4 points in points allowed. They haven't been punished for it yet. I think Columbus has he's a mobile quarterback. Jalen McClendon has a real shot at picking them apart. The truth is, I think this is truly a coin flip game. I make Birmingham a -0.5. I would have given out the +3 or +3.5, but I actually still like it. And frankly, I like the money line. Columbus +140. It's one of the best prices in the market. I see one +41. There's one line out there +145. If you can get that, get that. But at +140, Columbus money line is a play for me.
Aviators +140, +2.5 -105. You're just better off taking the money line, like you mentioned there. George, appreciate you joining the show. We're gonna have you back on just next week to talk about the NFL schedule release and actually talk about the games themselves. What we're most looking forward to week 1. So next time we're on, we'll talk about that. George, appreciate you joining the show. You follow George on Twitter at George Silfides. Link is in the description. George, will chat soon.
Have a great long weekend, Jason.
Appreciate it. Thank you, George. And that's a great reminder, great plug from George. Thank you, because I forgot to plug it all damn week. Canada long weekend this Monday. No show on Monday. So I'll be missing you guys, but I'll be active in the Discord. Discord.gg/hammer. Link is in the description, or you can bring up the QR code on screen. People can scan. And yeah, we'll be in there. If there's a game 7, I'll be in there yapping about how I'm going to take Montreal at, unfortunately, any price. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that stuff. No show on Monday. Yeah, great stuff. All right. Before we bring on our next guest, just want to quickly remind you guys about our friends over, or our one friend over at Hit the Book, Brad Powers, good friend. Joy Knish, not so much. But if you can't get enough of this college football action, Brad Powers and Joy Knish are ripping off videos all throughout the off season. Today, 5 p.m. Eastern time, Hit the Book's YouTube channel. What are they talking about today? Do you know what they're talking about?
Yes, indeed. They are going to be talking about how many teams can win the national championship.
All right. Interesting.
Word from Moretto.
All right, appreciate that from Moretto. How many teams can win I feel like all the teams can win the national championship, but how many teams that have a realistic shot at winning the national championship? Can't say that every team has 0% chance, because my next guest will get mad at me if I say that. But you go check out the Hit the Books YouTube channel if you're interested in some college football action. All right, let's get on to our next guest. Excited to have him on. Missed him in the office this Monday. Sad when I don't get to see this guy every single week, but happy that he comes on the show as often as he does. He is an inaugural Toronto Tempo season ticket holder. Not performative whatsoever. He just absolutely loves ball. Kirk Evans, how's it going?
That was your best intro of me ever. Love that.
Appreciate it. Well, you know what? I feel like I can dig you and like rib you a little bit when you I see you often, but I haven't seen you in quite a bit. I haven't seen you since last week, so I got to be like a little bit more nice to you. Listen, I also got to like balance out the chat, who whenever you come on screen, there's 3 or 4 messages just screaming "Fade God" in the chat. Even though, I mean, listen, we didn't do the best last week in the W, but it's okay. It's okay.
Did we do bad? I don't remember.
I believe.
Oh, wait, Connecticut
Suns,
for sure.
They lost. Tempo lost. I forget what the third one was. The SGP also lost, but I forced you to bet an SGP, and it's
tough. It's tough. Maybe I am a fade god. You know.
It's all right. You're the. Oh wow, Chris Dierk is in the chat, just giving us a nice little boo. It's unfortunate. All right, let's get into the show today. NBA. Listen, I know you followed the WNBA more when the WNBA starts up. But we got 2 pretty big games tonight in the NBA, and I know that you're following, and I know you probably don't have bets. You're going to tell us that the market is correct. But let's go gun to your head right now. If you had to pick a side for the Cavs-Pistons games, for the Spurs-Timberwolves game, gun to your head, if you had to pick a side, who would it be and why?
I probably would take both road teams tonight if I really had to. Mm-hmm. I think that I do think the market's pretty fair, but I think Detroit is getting maybe priced a little worse than they were in Cleveland in the last 2 home games, and I just nothing really has moved me this series. I think these teams are very, very, very even, and Cleveland's getting a little more than home court tonight, so I would take Detroit at like the plus 146 if I had to. You're really putting me on the spot here. I didn't realize I was going to have to do this. And then I would probably take the Spurs minus 5.5 as well. I just think the Spurs are a lot better of a team than Minnesota. And I feel like we've seen some game 6 let off the rope games. Maybe that's just a small sample, but the Knicks won that game 6 in Atlanta by 500. There's been a few of those games. So, I think the Spurs are a lot better and could just walk in and win by, 25 tonight. But I don't have a bet on either of these games, and I don't think either of those are very sharp takes.
No, it's totally fine. This is the gun to your head. This is the gut bet that you talked about. If you want to parlay those two together, the Pistons and Spurs, that's plus 255. Or if you want to go the other way and fade Kirk and go for Cleveland and Minnesota tonight, it's plus 353. So you have options either way. But I feel like one of those 2 teams are going to lose unless we all lose. So let's not do that. Let's go and talk about the WNBA because there's a lot to talk about here. There's no Rookie of the Year award market right now on FanDuel, and I wonder if we're ever going to get one posted. Maybe I'll have to work my way behind the scenes and talk to some people at FanDuel to get a market posted there. But Derek in the chat just mentioned he bet on Olivia Miles to win Rookie of the Year earlier this week. What's your opinion on the Rookie of the Year market? Do you think Olivia Miles, who should have gone number 1 overall and didn't, has like the best chance to win Rookie of the Year? I believe he got it at around even money. Would you be clicking or looking at the Rookie of the Year market?
Yeah, like Olivia, I did have like a long shot Georgia Moore ticket, which now I'd probably say is pretty dead. Like there are a few good Euros, but like, yeah, Olivia Miles is going to win Rookie of the Year. Unless she gets hurt, she's like probably a future Hall of Famer already. One of the better guards in that W. She's insanely good. So honestly, like that ticket, you can look at it nearly like it's cash at this point.
Yeah, no, all right. That's good stuff there. And do you know if we're going to get like this stuff populated? Have you seen it on?
Yeah, normally it comes up and down. Yeah.
All right. Any other futures you want to look towards, or you want to just get into the games tonight?
Let's get in the games.
All right, let's get into the games tonight. We got 4 games tonight. Mystics and Fever. Let's start with this game here. Caitlin Clark. She's playing tonight. Love Caitlin Clark. Tell me more about this game. Tell me why I shouldn't be betting Caitlin Clark 35-plus points. All this fun stuff. Talk us through this game.
Yeah, I don't have a bet to give here, but Fever, I think, have looked really good. If I had to bet, I'd probably take them. I think Washington's like a bit of a weird team, but they have some truly high-end, like good players that have looked really good. Sonia Citron's really, really good. But yeah, I don't have a prop here or a side, but like I think the Fever are like, I don't know if they're like championship for real, but they're a very for real team. They're good. Caitlin's being solid. Like she needs to hit some threes. She does, for her to be like, truly one of the best players in the league, because she has like some serious defensive shortcomings. So for her to be, kind of what she's thought as, she needs to make those deep threes that like she is being like absolutely horrible for the last, 15 games. But yeah, I think Indiana's a really good team, but I don't have any props or sides here.
Anything?
I only have props for the show, by the way.
All good. Anything to be made of them dropping the game to the Dallas, their season opener against the Dallas Wings? I know it was a close game. I know it was a high scoring one. It was a lot of fun to watch, but that was just.
It was an awesome game. That was an awesome game to watch.
Like, do you think they lost someone because of shooting variance? Kind of.
It was a close game where Dallas shot like 54% from three, and Indiana shot 29%. I didn't move either team particularly. After that one, I was on Dallas. So I'm past posting a little bit, but they're fine. Like, teams are going to lose games. They're not like going to go, 40-4 or whatever. But I didn't look at that game as like particularly concerning. It was one of like the best WNBA games ever, as I just like from a pure watchability standpoint, because both teams kind of suck on defense and are insanely good on offense. So I think there were 210 points in that game. It was just an electric factory.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. Let's get into the next game here. Aces and Sun. Aces playing the Sun, like not back to back, but like 2 times in a row in Connecticut, which is like kind of just like a weird scheduling quirk. But yeah, Aces and Suns, Aces like minus 14.5 point favorites, like one of the best teams in the league against one of the worst teams in the league in the Connecticut Suns. I know you said you have props. Is this a game you have props in for us?
I actually have an SGP here.
I love it.
I'm going to go Connecticut Sun plus 14.5 with Kennedy Carter under 14.5 points.
Okay.
So yeah, like Kennedy Carter is a score per minute scoring machine. She's a monster. She's a very, very good offensive player, but she's a bench player who like has closed all 3 games for Vegas because Vegas lost game 1 by 40 and then won game 2 and 3 by 40. So if it's a close game, she's just not going to play that much. She'll play, between 15 and 20 minutes. Maybe she has a bit of a chance to close, but pretty unlikely because she's just very clearly their third guard, and I don't think they're going to play those her with Jackie and Chelsea Gray. So if the game's close, I just don't think she can play enough minutes for this line to be reasonable. But if it's a blowout, then yeah, she's probably going to play the entire fourth quarter and just absolutely eat. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good SGP there.
All right, Suns plus 14.5, Carter under 14.5. You can get that on FanDuel at plus 203. Let's get into the next game here. Chicago Sky, Phoenix Mercury. Phoenix Mercury 3.5-point favorites. More props for us here. 10 o'clock slate. Should be a lot of fun. Talk us through this.
I don't have any props here, but yeah, Chicago. I think Chicago's like one of the teams we know the least about right now. They're 2-0. They beat Portland, who maybe is actually a bit feistier than people were giving credit for. It seems like the coach is at least semi the real deal. Market pricing them pretty good here. Honestly, this was quite clearly the market buying Chicago here. I think they're to be seen. Natasha Cloud came back and played her first game for them last night. I think like the big question is like, what are Rickea Jackson and Camila Cardoso, who are both third-year players who have been like kind of, not really winning players, but putting up stat players in their first 2 years, but have been pretty solid to start the year. Diggin Smith is a good player. So, yeah, market clearly buying them after the 2-0 start here, but I think they've only played 2 games, and one of them was against Portland. So I think And this is like a completely new team. Diggin Smith is new to the team. They lost Reese. They added Cloud. They added Rickea Jackson. They lost Ariel Atkins. So, yeah, I think this is a team we're still very much learning about.
All right, wait and see approach with the Chicago Sky to see if we upgrade them or if you're going to upgrade them in your numbers. Last game we have is our Toronto Tempo. First of all, what happened in that first game? You were there, boots on the ground. What happened in the home opener?
We said Dallas Indy was one of the best games I've ever watched. That was one of the worst games I've ever watched in my entire life. That was completely insane. Toronto had 17 made baskets.
That's absurd.
It was just completely insane to watch. It was actually like really just like a tilting game to be at, honestly. It was fun. It was great. The crowd was amazing, but like it was just crazy how bad it was. But then I was at the Seattle game. Offense was way better. Everyone looked better. And I think Toronto probably found a hidden gem in Conda, who's coming off the bench for us, who is like a 29-year-old rookie who a lot of the WNBA international scout nerds love. And I think she's really legit. She looked awesome last game. So, 1-1. We're an expansion team. 1-1, not bad.
Yeah, you take that start, better than being 0-2. We got the Sparks tonight, Los Angeles Sparks. What's your SGP or any prop bets for this game?
No SGP. I do have 2 props from this game, though. The first one, sadly fading, our leading scorer, Marina Mabry, under 19.5 points. Currently minus 104 at FanDuel. Like that. I was also on or under last game, to be fair, and it did not go well for me. I think she had 26. But Marina Mabry was the best player, or, one of the top, sorry, not best player, actually, not even really close, but whatever, was one of the top usage players on the worst team in the league last year, and she averaged 14.4 points. Like, I don't really think that she's added. I think her usage percentage right now is like 37%. She's shooting like 60% from 3. Like, I don't think that Marina Mabry added 6 points per game from last season to this season, going from the worst team in the league. It's actually like not even the worst team in the league. I don't think, like, clearly she's going to have a usage bump. I'm not saying her point total, it should be 14.5 points or she's going to average 14.5 points. But, to get from her career per 36 average, or even her last year per 36, to this, you need to make a really, really monster usage jump. And I just don't see that to get to this number.
All right. 19.5 there for Marina Marbury under 19.5 points at minus 104. What was the other?
Mabry. Not Marbury.
Oh, I'm thinking of the other basketball. Stephon Marbury.
Yeah.
No relation there, I guess, because they have different names. Let's get into the other prop bet you have.
The other one, Erica Wheeler over 8.5 points, minus 130. So Ariel Atkins is out tonight, and LA is just a mega condensed rotation. They just are. They're super shallow, even with Atkins. She's really like the only guard on the roster off the bench. So I think she is just going to see a monster minute boost. Could be in the mid-30s tonight, especially if it's a competitive game. So I just don't think it quite reflects how many minutes Erica Wheeler is going to play.
Yeah, the over 8.5 there is minus 130 for Erica Wheeler. Before you head out here, question from the chat, just asking about 6-man of the year market. Does Kirk have any thoughts on, Janelle Saloon? Six man or 6 player of the year, at plus 600 right now, plus 470 on FanDuel. Any opinion on that, or is it still Kennedy Carter's award, who's plus 195 on FanDuel?
You need to go to school to learn how to read and say names.
Wait, hold on.
You're legit over.
To defend myself here, the chat is not like, it's pretty far away, and I need glasses. So I'm like, it's blurry. I just got to make sure I'm saying the right name. Like, it's just hard for me to see.
Well, you're not saying the right name.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Salon has a really decent chance to start at some point in the season. Like, the lineup is pretty good, but it wouldn't shock me if Tiff Hayes. I know she has been starting with Hayes being out, but it wouldn't shock me if he snuck in. And Carter is just going to kind of put up pretty wacky stats for a bench player. I think it's a good look. If you had longer odds, I think she absolutely could win this award. But for plus 470 with a lot of other players, potentially in the conversation, I don't know if I'm buying a plus 470, but I don't hate it.
Okay. Would you take a stab at the tempo? I guess she's not even listed. Maria Konda. Is that someone you would take a stab at 6th player of the year? If her odds get posted.
I don't hate it. I like where your head's at there.
Right? Anyway.
I think she's going to play a lot for us. I think that's a good look. Maybe message someone at FanDuel, but we probably ruined this with considering talking about it. But I do think that's a sneaky look if you could get her at 100 to 1.
See, one of the benefits of not going to school is you get to think outside the box and think differently. So there we go. Kirk, appreciate you joining the show.
Sure. Sure. If that's what helps you sleep at night.
Any final thoughts before you head out? When are you taking me to a Temple game? All that kind of stuff. What's
you haven't earned that.
All right. Maybe I'll take you to a Temple game. Kirk, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon. You follow Kirk on Twitter at KirkEvans0. Kirk, thanks for coming on. All right. Great stuff there. From Kirk, as always. Oh, great guy. Love Kirk. All right. We're going to bring on our third and final guest, but before we do that, if you're stuck trying to toggle between sportsbooks, trying to find the best prices available in market on some of those WNBA bets we gave out, you're wasting time, and you're also giving up your edge. What are you doing? Go get BetStamp Pro, because BetStamp Pro pulls real-time odds from over 200 sportsbooks, regulated offshore PPHs, exchanges, and prediction markets, all on one screen with sub-second latency. But the real advantage here is BetStamp's True Line, a proprietary algorithm that aggregates the sharpest books to calculate what the real numbers should be. You're not just seeing the odds, you're seeing what the edge actually is. Sort by EV, filter by hold, and identify off-market lines the second that they appear. This is the same tool professional bettors use to scale their profits. Head over to betstamp.com/hammer. Get the free 14-day trial to see the full main market screen for yourself. Link is in the description down below, or you can scan the QR code on screen. That's betstamp.com/hammer. All right. About to close out this show with an absolute real one. If you follow him on Twitter, you should be following him on Twitter. If you're not, go follow him at MLB Dream. He's the lead MLB betting analyst at FTN Fantasy. Big Orioles fan. MLB Dream, how's it going?
Jason, man, how you been? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Long time no talk. It's been a while. Excited to get into today's show, and I know you have a bunch of stuff for the slate for tonight. But before we get into the slate, just want to do sort of a first quarter analysis of the MLB, just kind of things that have stuck out to you over the first 40-ish games of the season. Because we haven't been talking too much MLB here on the show, and we're kind of out of the loop, and I'm a little bit out of the loop. So talk me through this here. 40 games into the season, biggest headline of the MLB season so far. What sticks out to you the most when you think of the MLB over the last 45 games?
I think it has to be the National League Central. I didn't expect every team to be above 500 at any point in the season. The Pirates are getting some hype going into the year, and I wasn't really buying into it. They look good, man. Like the pitching is legit. They're pretty deep. They might be a little, maybe not too deep in their lineup. If they could spend just a little bit of money, maybe before the deadline or at the deadline, I think they could make some noise and maybe even make the postseason. I like the Cubs coming in. I think they were about plus 120, plus 130 to win the division. It's probably the only futures bet that I just made a small bet on, just because I figured it was going to move with the Brewers not really adding anybody. But again, they're doing their thing as well. So I do think that the Cubs will still end up winning the division. The Pirates, I think, will be there close to the end, and you can't ever count out the Brewers. I think it's safe to count out the Cardinals, even at 25-18. They're not as bad as I thought they would be going into the year, but I do think that they'll probably fade as we move along to the season here.
Yeah, no, it's just tough though with these NL teams, because it feels like, again, they're all drawing dead against the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's like an award to just sort of like it's the right to lose to the Dodgers. It seems like, however far you make it in the NL here. Let's flip over and talk the teams that are leading both the NL and the AL, because when I see the Rays first in the AL, I kind of go like, what the heck is going on here? And then listen, in the NL, Braves leading isn't that crazy of an outcome. If you told me that at the beginning of the season, wouldn't be too shocked, but still they're 30-14, which is a great record here. What's driving these hot starts? And I guess this is more so for Tampa than Atlanta. How sustainable do you think this start is for both these teams?
Going into the season, obviously everyone's pretty high on the Braves. It was pretty much between them and the Phillies to win the division there. People got a little colder on them as the pitching injuries started piling up even before the season started. But dude, Sale's been obviously amazing, like we expected. I don't think Elder is going to keep this up for Atlanta, but I've probably been saying that for a few months, going back to last year. He's just one of those guys I don't really buy into in the advanced numbers, but he seems to find a way to get it done. A big boost for Atlanta. He's only made 2 starts, but has been Spencer Strider. He looks like the old version of Spencer, getting these swings and misses. So that's a massive bump for Atlanta. And their lineup is just stacked, man. 1 through 9. Drake Baldwin is one of the better players in the league. And obviously they're doing it without Acuna right now, who should be back pretty soon. I think it's harder to articulate why the Rays are doing what they're doing, right? It's a little bit of that devil magic that they seem to bring out each year. Their pitching has been really good. The rotation, it's I don't want to say Shane McClanahan's back to his Cy Young level, because he's not, but what they're getting from him has been incredible, and they're kind of just mixing and matching Jesse Schultens. It looks like this Griffin Jacks from relief pitcher to the rotation is going to work as well. They do this all the time. Rasmussen's been great for them as well. And they're also, I know we're going to talk about the Blue Jays in a bit here, but I think the biggest difference is they're stealing bags. I want to say they're second or third in the league in stolen bases. So you put that together with their pitching, they're just winning ball games, and I expect them somehow to be here towards the end of the year as well. The Yankees are doing what they're doing at the top, which is kind of what we thought. I don't know how big how significant the Fried injury is, but they should be getting Cole back. They got Rodon back as well. I do think it'll be the Yankees division to take eventually, but I don't really know how the Rays always kind of manage to do this.
They're just sticking around here. Their bullpen's also been great for them as well. Like, I don't who's their closer. I forget his name now, but like this Baker or something. Baker just like sort of appears.
Is it
like
Brian Baker?
Brian Baker, yeah, just sort of appears out of nowhere for them. He's got like 11 saves this year. All right. Next question I have for you here is it's probably going to go. Hopefully your answer for this one is the Blue Jays. But is there a team sitting under 500 right now that you'd be looking to sort of back in future markets, maybe to make the playoffs, or like could sneakily go on the right? Listen, we're only 25% through the MLB season, so we got a lot more games to play. Is there a team you're looking at right now who's sort of had a cold start, but who you could see turn things around come the summertime?
Not necessarily a cold start, but I was looking a little bit at the AL West. I think it's safe to count the Astros out. What was it last year or the year before? They kind of got rid of a lot of their sharper front office people who put together the dynasty for the most part, and they've kind of been reeling since then. So I do think the AL West is a little open. It's probably the Mariners division to take, obviously, with their pitching, but the A's rake. I am a little worried about their starting pitching and their bullpen in general. But I think I saw them at plus 160 to make the playoffs, which right now isn't a bad bet. Again, they're 22-21. I didn't totally answer your question. They're only one game above 500. But so if they really had to answer, it'd be the Mariners at 22 and 23. But again, I think they're plus or minus 210 to make the playoffs or something like that. So that might be a better bet to make the division there. But yeah, I'm not a big futures guy. I just spend so much time breaking down the slate each day that I really should be making time at least once a week to go through the futures markets and look at these things. But I think it would be one of those teams in the AL West.
All right, let's take a stab. Athletics to make the playoffs there, plus 186 seems like what you mentioned. Before we get into today's slate, and we'll give you as much time as you want to rattle through all the games on today. Blue Jays, you got to give me an update of what's going on here. Vladdy absolutely stinks, but we know that Vladdy stinks early on in the season. We're just kind of like always hope and dream that he comes and turns things on as he does late in the season, but who knows? He might not be able to do that this year. I talked about some Blue Jays futures at the beginning of the season. I said, hey, maybe we should wait a little bit on them because of all the pitching injuries, because we know that Vladdy often starts a little slow. Now I'm getting a little bit worried. The Blue Jays are out at 30-1 to win the World Series right now, so we need a lot of hopium for us to sort of remake the magic that we saw in last year's run. Talk to me about the Blue Jays. Should I be feeling some hope with this team, or are we just done?
I mean, I'm not close to done, man. I might be one of those guys that's probably a little too patient. Even though we're a month into the season, I still feel like the season just really started. You said a quarter of the way. Dude, Vlad still has like an on-base percentage of 380. Yeah, he's not doing much damage, still hitting just under 300. I think the Springer and the Kirk injuries were pretty brutal for the Blue Jays here. They came in with a couple pitching injuries. I don't think they're gonna. I think they'll be in the hunt eventually. I wouldn't rule them out. I don't know about the 30-1. Maybe let's look at something a little more conservative, like what they are to make the playoffs this season. But I know I'm going to butcher his name. I know you were just getting crap now for not being able to pronounce anybody. But Okamoto.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
I was listening to Eno Saris, I think it was yesterday before, and they talked about how his K rate was so high to begin the season. They moved him back in the box and a little closer to the plate, so he's able to kind of get more to that outside corner, which is where he's having a lot of issues. Like I said, I think that this is the Yankees division to win. It's kind of how I felt going into the year, but I think the wild card is wide open, man. Like, I mean, one hot stretch here and the Blue Jays are right back in it. I still like how their team's constructed. They don't strike out. Maybe they need to be a little bit more aggressive in the strike zone. And I think what was interesting is, like, you look at their numbers and they're not that far off from the Rays. The biggest difference I saw was the Blue Jays have the second fewest stolen bases in the league, and I think the Rays were in the top 5. So maybe even getting a little bit more aggressive on the base paths, it kind of may force the issue a little bit. But they have to get a little bit either more aggressive in the box or more aggressive on the bases.
Yeah, I like that. Hopefully we can see this Blue Jays team turn things around to make the playoffs right now. Plus 180 for the Jays. Doubt they'll win the division.
I don't hate that.
It's a good look. I think there's life in this team because, again, like they almost get like they get such a massive bump when they will get Bieber and Trey Savage to like kind of return to his like form. We're gonna assume that he's gonna return to like his like last year form because he looked absolutely incredible. And if not, then we are drawing dead. But let's get into today's games here. We'll kind of rattle off. Like, I don't know how you want to do this. You want to just kind of go through each game, what you have a bet on, or just give us your bets for this slate.
We can go through each game if we have the time. Today's one of those days where I think I have 5 plays in now. I still need to work through a bunch of props. I could end up with like an 11 play card. It's one of those slates that I'm working through like 18 things that I like, which I absolutely hate those days. But just to be, fully transparent, I'm getting rocked on sides this year. I think maybe down about 20x, doing really well on props and about even on totals. A little bit down on the season, but like props are doing really well going back to last year now. I wish I was better on sides because it's obviously so much easier to get down on those. But let's go through the card. Yeah,
go through. We'll start with the Phillies-Pirates game. Anything you like here from a props perspective or a side perspective?
Yeah, I lean Pirates here. Nola's had some trouble versus lefties. I'm close on the Braxton Ashcraft. Dude, he looks amazing, by the way. The swing and miss stuff is good. Everything that people said about Bubba Chandler going into the year, Ashcraft has been. I might be a coward here and try to find a parlay partner for his strikeouts at 5.5. Might go 5+ and pair with somebody. That usually doesn't work out well. But what I'm looking at there is Ashcraft either 5+ Ks or over 5.5.
All right, Braxton Ashcraft 5+ Ks or over 5.5. Next game, we were talking about the Blue Jays. Savage on the bump today against the Tigers. Jays road favorites right now, minus 124 on the money line. Totals at 8. Anything from a sides total perspective or props here?
Not much. Madden, I think, has been great for the Tigers, filling in for Skubal here. Trey Savage might be the 5+ that you could pair here with Ashcraft, kind of be a little of a coward there, which I kind of like to do. But no, I lean under there, and then I'm looking at the Trey Savage 5+ or 5.5. Haven't figured that out yet.
All right, you Savage as well, 5+ or the 5.5. Next game we have is the Orioles and the Nationals here. Talk us through this one. Anything you like in terms of props? You're shaking your head. I'm seeing this is a no.
No, it's a big yes. Rocking the Nats massive O's fan. This is one of those games where I could have either 1 or 5 plays. I already bet the Orioles team total at 4.5. I think you're fine going the Nationals team total as well. Both pitchers have been really bad. I haven't figured out which prop I want to take yet. Been doing really well with the hits, runs, and RBI. It's one of the Orioles lefties. It's one of them. I need to dig a little bit deeper in there. Either Basayo, Adley, or maybe even Gunnar. I don't hate Abrams or Wood either for the Nationals, but I've played the Baltimore team total over 4.5. I think around -130, and I'll figure out the props here when we hop off.
Yeah, over 4.5, -140. You can find all this stuff on Dream's Twitter at MLB Dream. We got the Reds. The next game we got is the Reds taking on the the Guardians. Reds 15 runs yesterday. Is there going to be anything in the tank for today?
I hope not. I'm on the Guardians here. I think around -130. Andrew, we talked about guys who was elder that's kind of beating his peripherals all year, or going back to last year. Abbott has done that for the last 2 years, and the regression seems to finally be catching up with him. He's someone that I'm not a really big fan of, so I went ahead and bet the Guardians money line as well as the Jose Ramirez over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI. I think -135 or something like that.
Let me just pull that up in just a second. I'll grab that just before. Maybe we can get Mike to pull that up behind the scenes. We'll get into the next game we have here. It's the Brewers and the Twins. No, I'm not sure. Do you have any knowledge on who's going to be the pitcher right now? Not listed on FanDuel. Joe Ryan pitching for the Twins right now. This game's almost a pick 'em here. Any information on the starting pitcher for today for the Brewers?
I skipped this one. I assume it'll be Chad Patrick, but I'm not really sure. I know they moved him to the bullpen and wanted to move him more into a relief role because stuff plays up a little bit better in the bullpen. I assume it'll be Patrick, but I'm not sure.
All right, let's keep things rolling here. Next game we have is the Marlins and the Rays that we talked about. The Rays maybe hoping to keep things going with their little bit of their devil magic here. Rays -118 against the Marlins. Anything you like in this game?
I am looking at a prop. If I bet it though, it'll probably move kind of significantly here. So I don't think I want to share this one yet. Still waiting for a little bit of movement to kind of settle.
All right, we'll wait on that one. Again, follow Dream on Twitter at MLB Dream. Red Sox, Braves.
Actually, sorry to cut you. It doesn't even matter. I wanted Schulten's under 15.5. It's -200 right now. I don't think we're going to get back to a playable number there. So that was a look there.
All right, knock in. That's all right. That's all right. Maybe it'll get to the playable number later in the day if people can keep an eye on that one. Red Sox, Braves. Strider, like you mentioned, has been absolutely raking in his first 2 starts. -154 on the money line. Anything from a props perspective in this one?
Was another guy I was kind of looking at the strikeouts, either 6+. I don't know if I want to go over the 6.5. Lean Braves as well. I probably won't play a side there. I haven't bet anything in there, but if anything, it'll probably be Strider K 6+. Maybe pair him with who are we looking at? Trey Savage or maybe even Ashcraft.
Or maybe all 3. Hey, if you want to have a lot of fun there. Cubs, White Sox. Cubs -146. Eduardo Cabrera on the bump. Totals at 8.5. Juice towards the under. Anything in this one?
You got it right the first time.
No.
It's Edward. I lean Cubs and over here, but this is with all the games that I do like on the slate. This is one that I probably won't have any action in.
All right, we got a bunch more games coming up here. Let's rattle through them quickly. Rangers, Astros. Anything for this one?
It'll be Yordan Alvarez over hits, runs, RBI. If that ends up making my card, but that's the one look I'm looking at there.
All right. Why don't you just rattle off the rest that you have for the rest of the show here, just because we got to get out here in just a couple minutes. Rattle off. Alex was supposed to send me what you had, but
you know what? It's my fault because I didn't send it to him.
No. Never give Alex an out. Always blame Alex. That's rule number 1 of this show. Rule number 1 is blame Alex, and the chat will be blaming Alex as well. Yeah, rattle off the rest of the stuff you have here.
I got nothing in the. All right, let's see here. I don't know where we cut off exactly. Dodgers team total is something I'll probably end up on at. I don't know if we can get the 4.5 there. The 5.5 might be a little too juice. I did bet the Rockies team total at 5.5 +105. I don't know which prop will end up on there, but I do like that. I also bet the A's team total at 4.5. And again, I'm looking at a righty prop there as well. I'm not sure which one I'll go with. Tyler Malley's just been absolutely getting. I mean, it's like Barry Bonds splits that he's gone against righties. I think righties on the road, they're slugging almost 800 against him. So that's probably another game where I'll end up with a play or two. But I think that's pretty much it right there.
All right, sounds great. Dream, appreciate you joining the show. Appreciate you sticking around for this long. Sorry for going over on our time. I know you got a busy day, and I know you got a big slate to get to, so I wanted to get you out in an efficient manner. You can follow Dream on Twitter at MLB Dream. You're going to want to do that because he's got a lot of great information there. You can also check out his stuff at FTN Fantasy. Link is in his, or Twitter link is in the bio, in his bio on Twitter. Dream, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Thanks, dude. Take care.
Great stuff there from Dream, as always. Super smart MLB ball knower. Just a pure ball knower. Also a little bit happy there that he said, you know what? I got a little bit of hope in my Blue Jays. Got a little bit of hope in my Blue Jays. I love it. I absolutely love it. Appreciate you guys tuning in for the entire show. What a great show. Quick reminder, no show this Monday. No show to start the week next week, but we will be back on Tuesday, and it'll be so much fun. I want to just give you guys a little bit of a quick sneak peek before we head out here. I'm trying to find this market. Series player head-to-head. What are we looking at here? We're going to take Mitch Marner head-to-head against Martin Nakes in the series points head-to-head. You can get him at plus 124 here to get more points in round 2 than Martin Nakes. We're going to take that as the dog of the day. Appreciate you guys tuning in. One, to give us a little bit of something to go into the weekend with. And also, reminder, keep your eye on the Discord because we might have some stuff for the Sabres-Habs game on Saturday. If not, oh my gosh, whoa, Habs minus 162. Wow. Didn't even realize that. Join our Discord. We'll be talking about that because if there's a Game 7, we'll be talking about that, which I believe will be played on the Monday. So no show on Monday, but we'll talk it through. And yeah, we'll just talk it through on the Discord. Love it. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the show. Shout out to our guest, MLB Dream. Shout out to George. Shout out to Kirk. Alex saying I'll take Nakes minus 140 and give you Marner plus 40. Well, Alex, listen, I know you've been ducking the show this past week. Last time you said that, you had Ivan Demidov to win the Calder. So maybe if history were to tell us something, it should be liking that side. Appreciate you guys tuning in for the entire show. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Appreciate Mike keeping things nice and smooth. That's it. That wraps up today's show. This has been the Friday, May 15th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We'll see you guys right here next week on Tuesday.